So there's 3 signs that you'll never be a center mid at the D1 level. I'm telling you this because nobody told me back in high school what it really took to play D1 and the habits and the things that those guys were doing. I had a lot of doubt if it was even possible for me as a guy on the second team who still played high school and not like that top ECNL team, if it was even possible for me to get to that level. In the back of my head, like I actually didn't know if it was possible, again, like for me to do it because I didn't have like this natural talent. I didn't have this, like, it felt like I was going on the field and trying to force things and control things, and those guys were just having fun playing, and they had something that I didn't, okay? That was completely untrue. I ended up committing to play D1 soccer, and that was after I figured out all of these limiting lies, and I called them out of my system, of my mentality, that I don't know where I got them from, but they were literally just holding me back from being the player I needed to be. And again, it was almost an eye-opening thing to me. It was like the secret, and I got to the D1 level and I was like, okay, all these guys figured it out. Why did it take me so long to understand what it took to be a D1 center mid? So in this video, I'll explain exactly what that is and these lies that you need to get out of your head. I'm looking at my notes here. Like if you are new to the page, then my name is Chris. I work with center mids across the country through a remote program to make sure they're training right, thinking right, doing the right things on and off the field so they can get to the next level, okay? Because only like the top 1% of high school players and club players even get to the D1 level, and even a smaller percentage of those guys even start or get minutes at all, okay? There's a lot of guys that get to that level, they post on their Instagram story, and then bang, bench warmer because they haven't been doing the proper things before in preparation, and they've just been worried about like the recruiting camps and like the agencies and like the offers and the emails when they were missing the true thing that mattered, which is they needed to be the best player in their city, on their team, whatever it took to get the attention that they thought they deserved, because there's a lot of competition out there. So we'll get straight into it. So these are the limiting lies. Okay, first one. This one is super common, especially right now as guys are getting into high school and club season, depending on where you live. But you have, this is the limiting lie, you have to stop training once you get in season. Okay, this is a huge one. I used to think the same exact thing. I used to thought because I was so busy, I had AP classes, friends to hang out with, I had to lift and then go to high school practice and club practice. I was like, well, I guess I'll just wait until a few months from now when things taper off and I have more time. However, a D1 player would never think like that. A D1 player understands that every single day is an opportunity to get ahead, especially during season, because in-season training is more important than out-of-season training. Out-of-season training, everybody's getting the work done. Everybody's going to the field. Everybody's trying to improve their game. In-season training, most people are just complaining about how busy they are and how stressed they are and how they can't even wait until the season's over where they can really get after it and improve. The biggest lie out there, never believe it. Because in-season action, when you're getting more feedback, you're getting more games, you're getting more data, and it's even more important to have that accountability and that clarity for what you need to do throughout the week to prepare for the next game. Because if not, you're just gonna keep playing the same game, making the same mistakes, and not making any progress. And at the end of the season, you're going into the offseason the same player as when you started, okay? Gotta change that mindset. And one of the best ways to do this is to redefine what you think training is. Okay, obviously training, you still need to be getting the work in, and the guys like in my program, they have the modified priming sessions, like that's what we call them, like they're either training in short spurts and they're being extra intentional to make sure it's not wasted, but also, so we can do like one is like modified training sessions, but also there's other stuff, film, feedback on your film and your training sessions. How about the mental game, right? There's more things than just going out and doing cone drills for an hour to work on. Okay, there's actually even more things when you're in season. Okay, so I can't stress enough, if you think you have to stop training once you get in season, you're just not going to make it D1. That is just the truth, and it's okay if you thought that before watching this video. I hope after you finish this video, your viewpoint is very different. Okay, it's coming from a player who played 4 years Division I soccer. I saw it myself. So you got to redefine training. You also can do something like this where you plan your week. Okay, so if you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll try to think of, I just made a plan for one of my guys. He had a game on Saturday, and then he wanted to take off on Sundays. And then he had practice Monday through Thursday with his team. And then Friday was his opportunity to train. But then again, like, it's the day before a game, day after 4 days of hard practice. So what's he gonna do? Well, that's what we put in something like a match day -1 session, which is a modified session in his program to make sure he's still getting the intentional reps in for the game without just ruining his legs, right? And then for these, Wednesday is usually like a hard day with his team. So what we do is, like, on Monday and Tuesday, we do day like A and B from his program. But these are like lighter. And then same thing with Thursday. These are like 5 to 10 minutes before his team session. He shows up a little bit early, takes clips of him doing it. I get to give feedback to him on his technique, and he gets to do that like going into his team training session, so he's sharper and he gets to like play even better in his team training by doing that. So you gotta plan out your week, because if you expect to just get better without having a plan for you and how you can balance being in season and in this training still, then, like, again, you need the plan. You need the plan. Second lie that you need to get out of your head, it goes hand in hand with the first, is that you think you need to spend hours at the field training. Okay? Get this out of your head. When you're in season, you literally just don't have, it's not smart to train the same as you would out of season, but it's more important. There's a difference there, right? So in season, you need to be getting modified sessions, and you gotta put them like in, like hand in hand with the team training and games, but you don't need to be spending hours out there. There's a lot of guys, I used to be guilty of this. I would spend hours at the fields. I'd post a picture that I'm out there grinding until like the sun goes down, or maybe I'm waking up extra early. And then I would just not feel good the next day for my team practice or games, because I was stubborn and I was like, oh, I gotta work hard. I gotta post this pic to show off to my friends. And then bang, I'm not doing the right thing. So what you can do is do these priming sessions that we talked about, where you're doing modified sessions before your training. And another one I like to do is you gotta be really smart. This is why having a plan is so important. You gotta stack your hard days. So for this example, if he has the day like day Friday is like a lighter match day -1 day. Well, maybe Thursday, because it's the day before, is the day where he can get after. He can do like an extra strength workout. He can do an extra speed and agility work. Maybe he can stay even longer at training because he's stacking days and he knows that he has an easy the next day. So that way it kind of goes hand in hand. Again, it's important to plan these things out, because if you don't, then you're just going to end up doing the wrong amount of strain, putting the wrong amount of strain in your body at the wrong time of the week. And that's where you go and actually get worse throughout season instead of getting better. And the third thing is that, like, the lie, like the thing you need to get out of your head if you want to go D1, is that you don't need feedback. Okay, that's the lie. You need, like, I used to think, because I was like, oh, I'm a good player, I don't need feedback, I can just do it all alone. No, you need to ask questions, even if it's your coach. But even, like, it's difficult because sometimes your team coach, keep in mind, like, he's not just managing you, he's managing 20 players and maybe 3 or 4 different teams. So he doesn't necessarily have the time to work with you, but it still helps. Maybe throw it out there, like, coach, from the past couple of weeks, what have you noticed about my play? Hopefully he can tell you something that can help. You be asking those questions. You can ask, like, your teammate. Hopefully someone, like, don't ask a goalkeeper how you can check your shoulder better. They're not gonna know. You gotta ask someone that is actually at that level and can help you. Like, hey, what can I do better here? What do you see from your perspective? Stuff like that. But most important, you need to define your weaknesses You need to focus on those. So, right, like ask questions, define weaknesses. Okay, those are 2 things you can do. Because again, like there's no point in having a plan if you don't actually know what the point of the plan is. Okay, you see how this can go south. But yeah, pretty much you probably have these limiting lies that are holding you back. I know I did. A lot of the guys that joined the program before they joined had these same lies. And day by day, we work on breaking them down, making sure that they understand that training in season is more important than the out of season. You have more chances for feedback, you have more mistakes to correct, and you have more opportunities to separate the gap and get ahead while everyone else is just being lazy. 2, that we broke this lie that like they need to spend hours at the field every day training. And 3, we broke this lie that they can do it on their own and they don't need feedback. Every single player goes further with feedback. Okay, that's why you see the greats continuing to be a sponge for information, continuing to ask for help, continuing to be open to improving. That's why they get ahead. Okay, the elite guys get ahead using feedback. So if you want to have more feedback, have more structure, all the things that we talked about actually laid out for you so you can succeed based on your film coming from a 4-year Division I player, you can apply to work with me one-on-one. My 12-week program is completely online, and it's not just some like free cone drill thing. It's not just some like drills you could find off TikTok or like just some ChatGPT plan. It's not that. It's the real thing. Okay, so don't apply if you're not serious about your career, because I'm not gonna have you in my community of other guys and tear them down. But if you are serious and you do want to work with me and you want to take your game to the next level and you're center mid and you're obsessive about your college dreams, then you can apply. It's the first link in the description of this video. You can apply to work with me one-on-one. It'll take you to a video that runs through the program, and then we can see if we'd be a good fit to work together.